After winning the trucks race at Dover last week and showing an uptick in speed, Kyle Busch was asked why the winning moments never get old. "Because you never know when the last one is," he said, smiling. 6 days later, Kyle Busch was gone. On Thursday, May 21st, 2026, the Busch family posted a statement on Kyle's X account that stopped the NASCAR world cold. Kyle has experienced a severe illness resulting in hospitalization. He is currently undergoing treatment and will not compete in any of his scheduled activities this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We ask for understanding and privacy as our family navigates this situation. Hours later, the unthinkable happened. The Busch family, Richard Childress Racing, and NASCAR issued a joint statement confirming that Kyle Busch had died. He was 41 years old. No cause of death was given. He is survived by his wife, Samantha, his children, Brexton and Lennox, and his brother, Kurt Busch, a NASCAR Hall of Famer. "Our entire NASCAR family is heartbroken by the loss of Kyle Busch," the statement read. A future Hall of Famer, Kyle was a rare talent, one who comes along once in a generation. He was fierce, he was passionate, he was immensely skilled, and he cared deeply about the sport and fans. Now, looking back at the 2026 season, a painful and unavoidable question hangs over everything. Were the warning signs already there? The first came before the season even started. Just days before the Daytona 500, a stool collapsed while Busch was fixing a smoke detector at home. He looked down and his leg was gushing blood. Samantha drove him to the hospital in the middle of the night with his leg propped up on the dashboard, covered in towels. He spent more than 3 hours in emergency treatment and received 24 stitches. And then he showed up at Daytona and raced. Not because he had to, because that is who Kyle Busch was. The second warning came at Watkins Glen, 2 weeks before his death. With 38 laps to go, Busch picked up his radio and calmly asked his team to find a doctor. He wanted Dr. William Heisel waiting at his bus after the race. And then he said 3 words that sent chills through everyone listening: "I am going to need a shot." He had been battling a sinus cold that week. That was the official explanation, but he finished 8th, his best result of the entire 2026 season. He grinded through whatever he was feeling, kept his car on the track, and produced the strongest performance of his year while clearly not being anywhere close to 100%. At the time, it felt like a story about toughness. Now, with that same man gone just 2 weeks later, the Watkins Glen radio call feels like something else entirely. It feels like a warning sign that nobody caught in time. Then came Dover, May 15th, just 6 days before his death. Busch won the Craftsman Truck Series race for Richard Childress Racing. His last points race, his last victory in NASCAR, the final chapter of a career that had produced more wins than any driver in the history of the sport. After earning his win at Dover, Busch was asked how many races he wants to win in his career before he stops racing. "You take whatever you can get, man," he said. "You never know when the last one is going to be, so cherish them all. Trust me." He didn't know it at the time, but that was Kyle Busch's final points race. To understand what NASCAR lost on May 21st, 2026, you have to understand who Kyle Busch actually was. Not just as a driver, but as a force. Born in Las Vegas, Kyle and his older brother Kurt began racing as young boys under the tutelage of their father, Tom. Kyle's talent was evident immediately. He was said to be ready to race at NASCAR's top level at 16, but a cigarette settlement banned his debut, and he had to wait until he was 18. At the time, Kurt Busch said, "If you think I'm good, wait until you see my brother." Busch stormed onto the Cup Series scene in 2005 by winning Rookie of the Year. He was racing for the powerful Hendrick Motorsports, alongside teammates Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. He won 4 Cup races in 3 full seasons for Hendrick, but Busch was fired early in his career by Hendrick Motorsports to make room on the team for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He toured the garage looking for an offer and found an unexpected home at Joe Gibbs Racing. Joe Gibbs himself put it plainly during their first meeting: "You're kind of this fireball of emotions type kid, and you're kind of in trouble a lot. Why should we hire you?" Busch had a simple answer: "You probably shouldn't." But Gibbs hired him anyway, and their partnership became one of the most successful in NASCAR history. Wheeling Gibbs' yellow M&M's number 18 Toyota, Busch won 56 Cup races and 2 championships. He earned the nickname Rowdy and wore it like armor. After race wins, in the face of a crowd mixed with as many boos as cheers, Busch would hop out of his car and bow, reveling and playing the role of the heel. The Rowdy Nation was born, but the defining moment of his career came in 2015. In February February, he suffered broken bones in both legs in an Xfinity Series race at Daytona, his car colliding with an unprotected wall. Doctors said he would be out for 6 months. He was back behind the wheel in 3. He won in his 5th race back, then won 3 of the next 4 after that. On November 22nd, 2015, as the laps wound down at the Ford EcoBoost 400 in Homestead, with the championship on the line, Kyle Busch was singing a cartoon theme song, the theme to Vocabulary, the favorite show of his then 6-month-old son Brexton, to stay calm while his entire team was a sweating, anxious mess. It worked. He won his first Cup championship that night. He won his second in 2019. Across his career, Busch recorded 63 Cup victories, 9th all-time, along with a record 102 O'Reilly Auto Parts wins and a record 69 Truck Series wins, for a combined total of 234 victories across NASCAR's 3 national series. That is 34 more than Richard Petty. The next closest is Kevin Harvick at 121. He won a Cup Series race in a record-breaking 19 consecutive seasons from 2005 to 2023. No driver in the history of the sport has ever come close. His final chapter began when Joe Gibbs Racing released him after the 2022 season due to sponsorship issues. He joined Richard Childress Racing, where he won 3 times in 2023, but the wins dried up. His struggles led to a very public feud with former JGR teammate Denny Hamlin, who said on the Actions Detrimental podcast, "If you're expecting Kyle Busch to just go back to victory lane on a regular basis, you are kidding yourselves." Busch took exception and said he could make Hamlin's life hell on the racetrack. While several laps down at last month's race at Kansas, Busch made good on that threat and raced Hamlin hard instead of allowing the race leader to pass. That decision held up Hamlin during a crucial stage of the race, and Tyler Reddick wound up winning after Hamlin faded late. After winning the truck's race at Dover, Busch seemed to make a veiled jab at Hamlin. "I guess I just remembered how to drive." When the news broke, the racing world stopped. Denny Hamlin posted on social media, "Absolutely cannot comprehend this news. We just need to think of his family during this time. We love you, KB." Brad Keselowski wrote simply, "Absolute shock, very hard to process." Clint Bowyer, who had spoken to Busch just days before, posted, "I just talked to him Friday, in complete shock, as we all are. The devastation and sadness is beyond words." Jimmy Johnson, his former Hendrick teammate, wrote, "Kyle Busch wasn't just one of the fiercest competitors our sport has ever seen. He was one of the most talented race car drivers I've ever shared a track with. Kyle pushed all of us to be better." Dale Earnhardt Jr., whose complicated history with Busch had, thankfully, found its resolution, shared that the two had recently been discussing Busch running his late model at Wilkesboro that summer. They had planned to meet the following Thursday to get his seat fitted to the car. "Kyle was one of the greatest drivers in NASCAR history. No one can deny that," Earnhardt wrote. "But he was also a father, a husband, brother, son, and a friend to many. My heart is broken for the Busch family." William Byron described him as the best mentor he could have asked for, someone incredibly unselfish who cared about his people and his family deeply. Chase Briscoe wrote, "I'm gonna miss everything about KFB, and I can assure you no race I run from now on will ever feel the same, because the impact Kyle Busch left is unlike one any other driver could ever have." Ricky Stenhouse Jr. perhaps said it most simply, "There aren't really words for today. I've raced against Kyle for a long time, and anyone who's lined up next to him knows exactly what made him special. He gave you everything he had, every single lap, and he made all of us better for it. Hey, rest easy, Rowdy. The sport won't be the same without you." 234 wins, 2 championships, a record that will likely never be broken, a son he was teaching to race, a sport he gave everything to, every single lap until the very end. You never know when the last one is going to be, so cherish them all. Trust me. He knew. Somehow he knew. Rest easy, Rowdy.